Talantis has finally arrived in Overwatch 2, the first map ever designed by the community, and it's a hot mess. From weird bugs to some more than wacky design choices, the map is an absolute chimera of ideas thrown together into a loosely themed map around an evil lair in a sunken ocean city. But despite its flaws, we kind of love it. Sadly, we don't get to play it for very long. The map will only be staying in arcade mode for a few days before, on May 1st, it's removed from Overwatch 2 supposedly for good. But that would be a mistake, considering the potential the map has as a bridge between Overwatch 2 players and the people who make it. So first up, if you haven't dropped into arcade to give Talantis a try, here's the TLDR of what the map actually looks like. Set in the ruins of the mythical city of Atlantis, Talantis is designed to be a Talon headquarters, the dark reflection of Overwatch in the game's lore. It's a control map, so the two teams battle it out for control of a single objective, and it features death pits that open randomly on the objective, adding a certain level of RNG shenanigans to any point defense, giant fish swimming away in the background, and 3 jump pads that propel you from the spawn point to various levels of verticality around the main objective. If that sounds like the base of a pretty fun map, that's because it is. The jump pads fire you up to different levels depending on the pad you choose and can give certain heroes ridiculously good angles on the objective to take advantage of. The high jump pad is an absolute sniper's paradise, but by the same token, it's pretty easy to be sniped out of the air if your opponents are looking for you. Sadly, Talantis isn't a full control map. Usually they have 3 distinct areas to fight on over the course of a control match, but since it's essentially a community designed beta map, there's only 1 area to fight on, so the map can get a little old quickly if you play it over and over again. There are also some weird quirks or bugs, I guess, built into the map that amplify its status as a temporary inclusion. Sliding off walls and flat surfaces is ridiculously easy to do, and on a map that suspends you high above a watery grave, that's not exactly great. There's also an incredibly insidious bug that just straight up kills heroes as they're leaving spawn for seemingly no reason whatsoever. I don't know what this Cassidy player did to annoy Talantis, but if you die straight out of spawn, it wasn't because a widow got you, it's because the map just didn't like where you were standing. Then of course there's the fact that not all the textures are completed and what have you, but that's kind of understandable. Art and visual assets take a long time to make, so for a community design project, it makes sense they couldn't funnel resources towards it. Which is why it'd be a real shame for Talantis to sink into the sea without a trace come May 1st. Wouldn't it make more sense for Talantis to be kept in the game? Even if it's not in rotation for arcade modes, surely keeping it available for players a custom mode would be simple enough. With a little bit of support, Talantis could become a true Overwatch 2 community project. Imagine the potential the map could have if players could play around with it in the workshop eventually. And yeah, it feels a bit harsh to complain about a, well, let's face it, pretty bare bones, essentially beta map designed by the community being removed from Overwatch 2. The fact it was even added to the game at all was a bit of a surprise, especially now it turns out it's actually quite fun and unique. But at a time where the divide between the Overwatch community and the dev team is already quite fractured, the issues around matchmaking and bugs, the criticisms around Lifeweaver and the game's balance overall, Talantis could be a bit of an olive branch. Proof that the larger player base and the dev team can work together to create something decent just off the back of a relatively short Twitch stream. Talantis isn't the best Overwatch map ever, it was never gonna be. But it could be the start of more community-led playable ideas being put into the game in the future. The natural evolution of workshop codes and custom games to something bigger. I'm just saying, maybe they shouldn't sink the community-made map just yet. Well, those are our thoughts anyway. What do you make of Talantis? Do you think it has potential, or did the gimmicks have you swimming back to the surface? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. And with the Overwatch League Season 6 almost upon us, check out these videos on some of the players to watch going into the new season.